The first-time director here is Stuart Gordon, who majored in drama at the University of Wisconsin, but he had to drop out of school when one of his plays got him arrested by Madison police on obscenity charges. I personally think that's a great way to start a career in the arts. So Stuart moved to Chicago, and he ended up forming the Organic Theater in Chicago. That was a company of actors, writers, and directors who mostly did very serious stuff, like David Mamet's Sexual Perversity in Chicago. That was Mamet's first play. They made it into that movie About Last Night in 1986, and then that was adapted into the other movie About Last Night in 2014. So the original director of Sexual Perversity in Chicago, way back in 1974, was Stuart Gordon. And if you remember that story, there's two guys and two girls, and one of those girls in 1974 was Stuart Gordon's wife, Carolyn Purdy. And you just saw her in this movie when Dan Cain is trying to bring the patient on the operating table back to life, and he keeps saying, "I'm going to zap her again." Carolyn is the doctor who says, "She's gone, stop." You know, a good doctor knows when to stop. So this is actually one of the rare Stuart Gordon movies where Carolyn Purdy Gordon doesn't get killed. It was only later in his career that Stuart discovered the thrill of killing off his wife in every movie he ever made. Okay, you may have noticed that the protagonist of the story, and Jeffrey Combs as Herbert West is not the protagonist, Bruce Abbott as Dan Cain, he's the protagonist. The protagonist of the story goes from death in the operating room to mass death in the morgue to great sex with his girlfriend. And this is in keeping with the yin-yang of the movie, and it exemplifies the Stuart Gordon principle that sex and horror always go hand in hand. That's what Stuart says, and who am I to disagree? Okay, back to the movie. I learned the hard way that sex and horror go hand in hand. Jesus Christ. You know, it always seems like such a good idea at 10 p.m. It always seems like such a bad idea at 3 a.m., if you know what I mean, and I think you do.